Hello, everyone. Welcome in. This is the third day of the 7 days of celebration. I started on Monday and I did a video yesterday on glass jewelry, and today's video is going to be on turquoise beads, coral beads, Native American jewelry, and also some loose turquoise stones and some turquoise beads that I've had for a very long time that I rediscovered as I continued to pack for my impending move. So I wanted to show you some of the stones, and these are all bagged up. There was examples of so many different kinds of turquoise. There was Pilot Mountain, Bisbee, Lone Mountain, Morenci, Sleeping Beauty, Kingman, Tyrone, all the different mines out west. And then there was this bag of stones that was very interesting. I had bought these from a collection, and there were many different labels on the boxes from the different mines, and I don't know what label corresponded with what turquoise, and I'm still trying to figure that out. So I've always told people, do your research and make sure you know what you're selling before you do so. I think there was also King Manasseh mine in one of these bags. And then there's loose turquoise beads. I'll bring these over to the light box. It's too far away, I can already tell. And then I laid out turquoise stones to make a cuff bracelet. We'll talk about that in a little while. We'll get to that once I get to the light box. But I want to thank you all so much for getting me to over 7,000 subscribers. You've made me feel like a millionaire. Your love and your kindness is just incredible. Also, right off camera, there was this photograph of me back in the day with my two dogs, and my sister-in-law at the time made me this. And this was Zeus the shepherd mix, and this is Zito the bull terrier, and that was in my office efficiency back in the day, and they were total brothers. Look at Zeus's face. You know, he was so depressed when I first got him. And then look at Zito, happy as could be. You know, they were great brothers, and I miss them both very much. So I had that on my desk, and I wanted to share that because I am going to pack it to take it with me, of course, because I'm not leaving my memories behind no matter where I go. As to the stands that I have in front of me, these were much too large to take into the light box. This is, I think it's 13 single strands of turquoise and then shell beads. Let's see if I can get one of them off of here. And thank you so much again for joining in. And I just wanted to, I couldn't figure out what videos to do and in what order because I have so much more to share. But look at how simple these are for strands of turquoise beads and then shell beads. But here, let me take another one off and kind of show you the construction. But I think there's 13 strands total. And you can see they vary in color and size, natural turquoise stones, and then beautifully done. Old, maybe around circuit dating, I would say maybe around 1940 on these, but look at the impressiveness of layering them all together. And I bought them out of the same collection, and I think that's such the statement to put all of those together. I do think that they could be Santo Domingo, but I think these strands are Navajo. I'm not exactly sure since, I wasn't there and they are vintage. It's sometimes difficult to tell. So there's those. And like I said, they wouldn't fit in my light box, but I wanted to share those because I absolutely love that. And that's the way I wear them. I wear them in mass. I think they're just incredible. I love their presence. And again, look at the color of those natural turquoise nuggets. Really, absolutely beautiful. Oh, my ring, that's a carnelian ring cast by Christina Malcolm. She's a fellow metalsmith that I went to school with, and I'm still very good friends with Christina. And then this one was her partners at the time. And Karen, I believe Karen asked, and maybe Susan asked, but I know that Karen asked to see this one. And it's Cuttlebone Cast. And it's just an abstract sterling silver ring. He signed it on the side right there. But I asked for a gigantic, masculine, beautiful, knobby, modernist, just abstract sculpture of a ring. And that's exactly what he made me. And the texture is the cuttlebone itself. So when you carve into the cuttlebone, it has this amazing texture on the inside of it. And it leaves that in the metal. I just get so excited. My eyes go crazy. I get wild because, wow, what an impressive design. Thank you for understanding that my back is still a little bit touchy, so I'm trying not to lean forward as much today. I'm trying to remember that. Doctor's orders. So this was my other stand, and I don't wear these like this. This is a bit much, but I'll go through them really quick. This is a tab necklace, and it is a natural stone that has been impregnated so that it's wearable because it's so thin. So I would say that that is injected with probably a resin or a plastic because it's far too thin, but it's likely stabilized on that one. We'll get into treatment in another video. Let me take this one off because this one's important. Red coral was traded with the Native Americans very early, and obviously they had a lot of it in the Mediterranean area, and then I believe the English and the Spanish were likely trading with the Native Americans, and this was considered, let's see why this bead isn't laying down right. Oh, I see why. Now we're good. So this is considered red gold. The Native Americans considered most coral very, very precious, and they considered it red gold. They considered it almost as valuable as gold at times throughout their history. And this strand is incredible. Very old on this one. More than likely, this is difficult to tell. Could be Navajo, could be Santo Domingo, and it also could be Zuni. It really could be. There's no way for me to tell, but that's natural red coral and considered red gold. And when that's on, it's such the impressive thing all by itself. It's just incredible. The color, the tubular beads, very large in its scale in both beads and impressiveness. I think it's, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 strands. 10 strands of red gold. You gotta love it. It's so beautiful and so timeless. So I do wear that by itself when I wear this. And sometimes I'll wear this then together. Sometimes I don't separate these, but these are all separate necklaces. Most of the stones in this are very well-known mines. And again, I don't have the time to do it today, nor do I have the energy because I'm so distracted by my back right now. I'm just being honest, that I don't want to get into specific mines and make mistakes. But a lot of, in these beads, there's always Sleeping Beauty and a lot of times Bisbee. So a lot of these stones would be Sleeping Beauty and Bisbee. And then you can see that these are singular strands, but beautiful gradation in size and then spaced with shell throughout those. And I think those three look lovely together. Don't those three just read as absolutely beautiful together? And I've always loved the natural turquoise nugget necklaces. I think this one is, yeah, this one's very, very, very old. You can tell by the thread on this one. That's been around for a long time, but that's 3 strands. And look how they graduate in size, but they're so well cut, very well thought out, and the coloration of that is a minty, lighter, genuine turquoise color, but in the minty green blue saturation. And again, spaced with natural shell beads. And I don't know if people say he, she, or heshi. It's all about how you pronounce things. And in my last video, in the glass one, thank you for giving me social grace again. I don't know why my brain was so stuck on saying sapphirite glass. It's sapphirette. Sapphirette. Sapphirette glass. And I kept saying sapphirite. I don't know why I did, but I did. It was, once the camera turns on, I sometimes lose track of pronunciation. So thank you for bearing with me, and all YouTubers for that matter. We all do it. I've seen some of the most well-read people do it. But look at those. Those are just really beautiful for natural turquoise nuggets. On this one, I think that is Navajo. And then we get down into, this is very old. And why I show you this one is, of all these, this is probably the most expensive of all of them. These are very, very, very old coral and spaced with shell, natural shell, and then tiny little turquoise beads. Look how small of a whisper those turquoise beads are. They were so focused on the coral being the most important part of this necklace. Very old on this one. The color of coral, slightly more unusual than the later very saturated red. Most of the time, the very blood red is dyed, is treated. This one is not. This one is natural coral, not treated in any way. And you can see the variance in color. Notice that some are a little more tomato soup. Some are a little bit more washed out. Some are a little bit more orange. some are a little bit more red, but notice the shell, how natural the shell pieces are, and they are conically drilled. So there's a conical drill hole in the top of each bead, on the side of each bead, on the top and on the bottom. So the conical drill was a hand drill, and these are all hand drilled out. I will be bringing on some beads that are loose to show you a conically drilled hole. Looks like a little funnel from both sides. So the hole is larger, and then it gets smaller, and then they flip the bead so they don't break it. They flip the bead and hand drill it from the other side. So conically, it's like an hourglass. There's a hole. Oh, there's one of my hairs on that. So there's a hole, because I wear this all the time. There's a hole that goes this way, and then on the opposite side, the hole goes, this way. So they meet in the center of that hourglass. So that's conically drilled beads. The finding on this one is sterling silver, very primitive, very, very primitive. This has been restrung over the years. Of course it was, because this was more than likely on sinew or on very early cord. So natural sinew, but I loved these. Back in the day, just so you know, for the 4 strands here, I was offered very generously $1,100, and I declined it because I knew I wouldn't find these again. And the energy on these and the way these make me feel, I just really, truly love these very much. And sometimes my affection can't be bought as a collector, and I really love the size of these. And I do wear these by themselves for most of the time. I will say wear these by themselves. If I didn't, I would wear a very small turquoise or coral pendant up high. That's the way I would choose to wear these, because it's all about authenticity on this necklace. So that's a value on that one. So don't forget that coral, if it's old, can be very, very expensive. And then there's just these 2 that are left. They're beautiful. The turquoise nuggets are much larger. I really loved those. So once you start the additive process of all of these together, you can see that my collection has spanned, I will say has spanned over 25 years, specifically in turquoise, Native American, turquoise, and coral beads. But I loved the presence of these. And again, what an impressive thing of a collection. And then, of course, you add the larger red coral to the outside, and you have this just fantastic array of authentic Native American beaded necklaces. Now, thank you for letting me share those, because I've been really kind of very anxious to get those on camera. So thank you for letting me show those. I do have probably another maybe around 15 to 20 beaded strands that I've kept, but I couldn't get my hands on them in time for this video because I do have to do some things for work today. But again, all this in front of me, the little board that I'm laying out, some more turquoise beads in this gold box, the beads in this bag right here, and then also all of these turquoise stones. I'm going to take this over to look at the variants in these. Oh, it's just incredible. I'm going to take these over to the light box now. And again, thank you so much for joining with me. I really appreciate it very much. And this is the 3rd day of my 7,000 subscriber celebration. So I owed this to you. You've been so generous with me. This is the least that I could do for you. So thank you so much. Hold on. Wait 1 sec. Hold on. I'll be right back. Mwah. Be right back. So you made it back to the light box with me. Welcome in. So this is everyone's favorite part of my episodes. Welcome to the light box with Jason. So these are all the turquoise beaded necklaces that were on the one stand that I said I wore together. And look at that array of matrix and color and stone and natural and beautiful, really fantastic. Look at the oxidation or the patination on those stone beads. Really remarkable color saturation. I really loved it being mixed with this natural. Oops, I just got a phone call. I snoozed that one. Mixed with the natural shell beads. A great color combination between the earthy brown and this wonderful, beautiful blue-green turquoise. Really thought that these were fantastic. And look at how old the clasps are. Those kind of date them to an earlier time. The way the ends are finished, and again that oxidation and a patination on the metal. You can tell that those are older. But I really loved these stones. I thought these were just beautiful, incredible, and I love to wear them together. So I'm going to get those out of the way. I did forget to mention a few more shout outs, and oops, I almost had a major catastrophe over here. A few more shout outs for some of the people that have really become my friends on YouTube, and I keep forgetting people, and all the viewers, every single viewer, every single subscriber, thank you so much. I now have 7,100 and some, so it would take me about, I don't know, 17 days to thank each and every one of you. I appreciate every single one of you, but my fellow sellers and educators on YouTube, I mentioned a whole bunch of them on Monday. I forgot a great amount of them, but Sandy, Adrian, Jamie B, Sherry, Kim, Jennifer Hayes, Queen Anitra, Anna, D. There's so many more that every night I sit down and I keep thinking, I already shouted out the major ones that were so obvious to me, my dear friend Tanya at My Jewelry Addiction. How could I forget her? So, and Thelma and Kirsten, and the list rolls on. I want to make sure that you all know how grateful I am, and I'm not leaving anyone out of the list. So I just had to mention those few more that were really on my mind. And again, I'm going from memory here, so I probably forgot another, 30 more. So thank you all so much. These are the turquoise stones that I laid out on this board to make into a cuff bracelet. These stones are very large. Now, these are color treated and they are stabilized, and these are not American. I find it to be interesting that I showed some of these to an American turquoise dealer, and he was telling me all the mines that they came from, and he was mentioning all the ones out west. And I had to gently correct him and say, I'm sorry, but I imported these from China because I did. These are stabilized. So they are injected with either a resin or an epoxy to stabilize this color. And the way I know this is the dealer disclosed that to me. So these are not from American mines. These are all Chinese. But the matrix and the color, absolutely outstanding. And this one, looked so reminiscent of King Manasseh turquoise. And everyone, when they say green turquoise, they always leave out King Manasseh mine. And it's the most green of all turquoise from America. It really is. And people leave that out all the time. I don't know why they do, but they do. They go right to other names, but they always leave that out. So, but beautiful, great saturation. And it's going to be a gigantic cuff. I have a turquoise cuff that I guess, here, I'll show you this wide cuff, and look how wide this bracelet's going to be. This is over 3.5 inches wide, and look how wide the stones are going to go. I'm going to bezel set each one, and then I'm going to arrange them on a cuff that then arcs down around my wrist, but that's going to be a labor of love, and I'm so excited to lay them out and get that ready to go. I wanted to show you that I'm inspired to continue to create. The necklace I was wearing in the video, a lot of people have asked to see this up close again. Look at this for a beautiful, beautiful Native American pendant. The MT, I did look this artist up, and of course, I come on here and I blank out. I'm just totally blank right now. I had this written down years ago. Each bezel so carefully made for each and every stone, and I love the variants of stones. And then those little silver, what I consider rain droplets in between each stone and that kind of engraved or stamped border. I love this pendant. Love, love, love that pendant. Very sizable, very lovely. Had to show you that up close, and sorry that I blanked out on, or please forgive me for blanking out on the name. Let me pour these beads. Well, I can't do it this way, but I can, let's see here if I can do it this way. Let me grab a box and let me do like maybe a 2-part box over here. And again, thanks again for joining in. You know how grateful I am because it's totally true. I don't just say it to hear myself. I say it because I mean it. Without all of you, there's no reason to do this. Now, these beads, let me pour out a couple in here. Let me pour out a couple more in here. And so we'll take a quick peek at these. Not sure exactly, but my suspicion is on these as well, more than likely Chinese turquoise. I loved the matte finish. These have been around for quite a long time. I've never really cared where my turquoise came from in origin. What I cared about is this end result. These beautiful colors. Boy, my hands are dirty. Oh, let me wipe my hands off because I have got dirt all over myself. And I repotted a plant about 20 minutes before I came on, and I've got like dirt and craziness underneath my nails. Sorry about that. But there's, a beautiful turquoise nugget. The color variance of these stones really had me very happy. Look at that black matrix. And such a natural, beautiful stone. So these are likely Chinese. Why I show these is I just want people to understand turquoise comes from so many different places in the world. And sometimes even the most astute or the most expert of gemologists or geologists will sometimes not know the origin of some of the turquoise that they're dealing with. So I've been around Chinese turquoise enough to know that this is a classic Chinese turquoise nugget. That's a very classic Chinese turquoise nugget. So I'm going to scoot those out of the way for turquoise beads that I really loved. I love the natural shape on those as well. And then here were some more in this box. And this was packed up and ready for the move because I'm more than likely going to try and keep these to do something with. Look at the color variance there again. Beautiful turquoise, fantastic, large, chunky beads. And each one has a personality all its own. Look at the matrix in that one. Look at that thing. Almost that fine cobweb design matrix. And I loved that kind of large splotch of black. And as I dig through these, each one has such a personality all its own. Again, on these, probably Chinese, more than likely. On these, because of where I got them from, it was in a house in Cleveland Heights, and the family didn't want anything there. Yeah, that's a very strong indicator. This specifically, that pattern in that stone is very, very, very Chinese in origin on those. And this kind of a mottled greenish blue with that black and brown matrix. It does look like two mines located in the United States, but it's simply not on that one. Once you see these together, look at that one. Look at that electric blue that's peeking through that mellow limey green with black matrix. Again, had to keep those. Now we're going to get into the more what I would consider the more rare cabochons of vintage turquoise that would have been used in jewelry production. And then we'll go back to some of the Chinese turquoise that I had bought years ago at the gem shows. I think I am just going to, I shouldn't do it this way, but I'm gonna spill these out. And please forgive any dust or dirt. And I should arrange all of these so that you can see the variance in color. I know that you're gonna get a ton of enjoyment out of seeing the variable in color from American turquoise. There were labels on many of the boxes that these came out of. And this dealer was just south of Cleveland. And then I bought these. They had made them their way all the way over to the Pennsylvania border. And I had to track them down. I'm going to arrange all of them for you. And I'm going to start pushing them over so I have space. Thank you so much, because you will want to see all of these. And if I leave one off the screen, someone's going to say, hey, I saw that tip of that one. Can you bring that back on? And I'll say, the tip of which one? So thank you so much. There, we're mostly in the frame. Oh, no, we're not. No, we're not even really close to being all in and all done. But I want you to take a look at these. Look at the variable of form, shape, color, matrix. And the matrix is the mother or the host stone that, turquoise veins run through. So this matrix here is the brown and black, and then that veining is what's considered the matrix on that stone. Slightly metallic on some of these. And that really starts to get me going, because when you see natural veins of metallic, there are certain people that will say, well, that's Tyrone. This one's from the Tyrone mine. I don't think so on this one. It could be. I'm not here to fight or disagree, and there are certainly people who know turquoise much better than I, but I've been around it for, boy, strong 18 and a half years, going on to about 19 years. I've really kind of tried to study vintage turquoise. So I put all these on to show you. Look at the cabochons that were done a long time ago. They were backed, of course, with the black stone to then see how, let me explain that. So see how, and people will say that this is a doublet, or, and then if it's an opal and it's 3 layers, it's a triplet. But this is a doublet, meaning the turquoise is then laminated or glued to another host stone on the back to keep this very strong. Look at the metallic inclusions again, right there. And that tiny little touch, tiny little white spot of quartz. Natural inclusions is that native silver in the stone. In this one, I believe that to be hematite. No, I believe that to be pyrite. My bad. I take it back. No one needs to throw rotten tomatoes at their screen. I just reclaimed it. So there's pyrite in that one. And look at the vein of that. So see how fragile that turquoise stone would be, that undulation, because it's this thin crust of turquoise. They need to back that to keep that safe. I believe that actually, yeah, I think on this one that is a poured resin that hardened in the probably acrylic family, because you can't have a stone that undulates like that. So that's probably a resin-backed stone, but very old. These stones were in the same family for, I believe, I think this collection was over 60 years. Some of these green ones, specifically as I picked them up, again, I have had a few of these looked at. Mine on this one were still slightly confused. Now, there's going to be people who will leave it in the comments, and I'll say, that's fine, no problem, we can handle that. When I get these authenticated and looked at by a certified gemologist, and I do have a turquoise expert, unfortunately, my friend Dan, who was the foremost turquoise expert in the area, had passed away in March. And he meant an incredible amount to me. And unfortunately, I heard of his passing just recently. So we had a major loss in the gemological family here in Ohio. And to Dan, it was very much so upsetting to me, and I will continue to miss him. He was a fantastic light amongst darkness. Dan was an incredible man, but I loved these color saturations. And I just want to show you the variance. Again, look at the matrix and look at the polish on some of these. I loved these unusual shaped stones. That gives me so much freedom to then go and do something creative and fantastic. I will show you some of the thoughts that I'm having. Like on the design of this one, I thought maybe I could put these silver leaf shapes around this stone, and then put the stone right there, and then maybe do raindrops on the bottom and maybe a drop pendant. If not, I could put a turquoise right here. So maybe we look for this one. Does that make sense? I don't know. I'll know as soon as I get there, but that's awfully beautiful. 2 different mines, for sure. Absolutely. 2 different mines, 2 different locations, probably not even in the same state. But then you could put these together and look how beautiful and how natural that looks. Should that be a pendant? Absolutely. Should it be mounted maybe the other way? This should be the top, maybe. So I'll take a look at that now. Here, we have time to do that, right? We have time to let Jason's creative energy go crazy. And maybe this articulates. Maybe this bottom drop articulates. And let's put that in. Yeah, so look at that. Doesn't that read right? It sure does to me. Maybe that is just the most happy accident that just happened, and then I can finish this with some sort of very plain beaded border at the top, or a little cast element at the top with then a bail. That should articulate, though. This should move. This should have freedom to move, and maybe these will even move. I don't know yet. But that's the beauty of where I'm headed. with my life. I'm getting back to making because that's where I find, that's where I find my most happy times. Look at this. Let's see, it doesn't fit the stone as well on this one. It really doesn't. No, that's going to struggle and fight. Let's flip it. And then I always say, let's problem solve. Let's flip it. No, it's too clumsy. It won't work. So, but there's more turquoise stones. Let's put these silver pieces over here so I don't lose them. I loved those. And those were upcycled from a pair of broken earrings. I bought those at a pawn shop, and the posts were broken off. So I thought, I'm going to use those in one of my creations. Look at that one. I love this. I love the matrix. I love the balance. It's half turquoise, half motherstone, and I loved it. I loved that dreaminess, almost like a topographical map. Water, islands, coast. Fantastic. You could almost feel the ocean breeze in this one, I get so excited. But these green ones, there's a many of them. And then, of course, I wasn't necessarily a fan of the more natural nugget look. I don't know why, I just wasn't. I kind of lost it there. And, does that... I don't know, it just kind of loses it for me, but people love that natural look, and I can understand why. It's just not my jam. It doesn't get me going. It doesn't inspire me. This one has the metallic inclusions as well. That one's a treasure. This one is a treasure. These are little whispers amongst these, giants. You see this giant one, and you're wowed by that, but then these are the whispers that person that cut these stones knew to cut these this way, to leave those, natural inclusions of pyrite in those. Wowee. And then these. I liked when they would square these off. These are great for rings or pendants. And I did like the color. And again, you could put two together. You don't have to. They're powerful enough on their own, but you could do like maybe 3 little silver beads and bezel set these with a simple bail. So it's all about 2 gemstones lined up, or you can stagger them. Maybe I can stagger them like that and make more of like an Art Deco style, very geometric piece. Loved it. Let me clear these out of the way because I think you get the gist of the stones that I have to work with. And this is only some. Now I'm going to scoot down. Let me move this again, and thank you so much, because let's see if I can, I'm going to put them into a box, and then that way I don't have to waste any more time, and I'll show you a few more turquoise stones that, again, I had purchased. Let's just put these, let's let them slide down in here. Excuse the noise. Let's let them slide down in this. I don't want to damage any of my babies. I love them. We'll put this box out of the way. And we'll go into, that's going to stay there. We'll go into this bag, and then we're going to call it a night. I kept you long enough, and like I said, I do need to get some things done. Look at these for a matched pair of stones. I had a special plan for that. I'm going to line up a lot of this for you so that you can see when I've said to people that I can repair and restore vintage turquoise, I like proof of some of the claims that I have. And then I could show this, but we'll wait on another video for this. And these are bought separately. These are turquoise discs and a turquoise egg, smaller turquoise discs. And these are all Chinese. So these were all, let me show you this one. These were all imported. And these are Chinese turquoise. I could not pass this up. It looked so much like the patterning of Lander Blue, which, Lander Blue stone, I said in the last video, Lander Blue turquoise, the most expensive turquoise right now in the world. And this disc, if it was Lander, what would it be? $10,000. But as a Chinese turquoise that's, to me, just as beautiful as Lander Blue, it's only, maybe $30. Look at this one, though. And I hand-selected these out of hundreds of these discs back in the day at the gem shows, when the International Gem Show would come into the IX Center in Cleveland, Ohio, and I would fill bags, but I hand-selected each one because of the balance of color or matrix. That looks like a painting. Mother Nature, again, struck again and did an amazing, beautiful, God-inspired, heaven-inspired painting in stone. Again, I could get lost in all of these as well, but we're not here for all of these. But again, loved. And there's, well, I won't comment on how many more bags of those I have. Let me put that out of the way. Let me get this other bag out of the way. All right, now we're into these, and then I'm gonna let you go. I guess I lied. I just need you for maybe 5 more minutes. Look at those, mottled green. Again, I showed these to an American collector, and they were insistent that these were from out west. I believe they attributed these to a New Mexico mine or Nevada mine, and no, these were from China, and I love them for Chinese turquoise. And I have many variables on that one, and I think back in the day, for just these few cards of turquoise, I did not spend very much. I think maybe I spent $70 on all of them. Now if I go to the show, these would be easily, the last time I went, they were between 35 and 45 a piece. Look at this one. You know, does that make the most beautiful turquoise ring? Look at the size of that stone. In a simple serrated bezel, I could pop bezel wire around that, solder it down to a shank, and you'd have a ring in literally 1 hour and 15 minutes. And that's where I'm headed with this. Love, love, love. And really, truly loved. So what on earth? They are so natural and so beautiful. Again, stabilized. So I was okay with that because the dealer had told me, whoops, let me put this other bag out of the way. I have 3 bags of those. I don't want to say I was greedy back in the day, but I'm glad I bought what I did. Now, you know how hard it is to find square-shaped turquoise, rectangular. These could easily be cut down. But this is fantastic for restoration on vintage turquoise pieces that have a rich oxidation. That color is pretty universal. That would match vintage of the 1930s, 1940s, and into the 1950s. Again, why I bought this card is it had some black matrix and some more white or cream matrix. So I had all my bases covered. I had all my bases covered if I needed a certain matrix, if that makes sense on those. And then when people say they're missing a turquoise donut or something, I always wanted to be ready for restoration. And you can see how many times I've used this card for restoration on Native American jewelry here from the United States. Look at those tiny baby fabulous cabochons. Again, I wanted to cover all saturation of color bases, lighter turquoise into green, into a dark, moody, blackish blue, rich matrix, and then some just more about the turquoise. Now, the bottom of this bag, I guess, well, I could bring it on camera, but it's completely filled. I did these because you need this color as well, but look how many times I've used this for restoration. And, you know, it has been in my studio for well over 18 years now. Loved these. Never really found a use for them yet, but I know I will. Great millimeter on these as well, a universal. And this just keeps going and going. This one's flipped upside down. I'll have to move that one, but look at that color. And very much so aligns with 3 of the Native American mines of the United States. But again, that card's from China, imported. I'm not sure, well, there's a whole bunch in the bottom of the bag. I'll just show you. So there's just, that's only part of it, but, and the rest of the bag is sitting on the counter here next to me, but you can see the matrix and the color of those stones. So that's why I bought these, is for a lot of restoration in Native American jewelry. And I will, well, eventually I will offer my service to do restorations for those who need it, because I still do love doing that. I just need to find a clone of myself to do it. This whole card, I could talk about this for 12 hours. And I'm sure you don't want me to. I'm sure you can just take in the goodness and see why I bought this card. Magical Mother Nature. I loved these, and I still love these, and I need to get into the studio and use these. So again, you take a little piece of, let me see if I have my bezel wire here somewhere. Let me see if I can reach it. Well, yeah, I have both my bezel wires still on my desk, and so you can see that, you know, I'll take this sterling silver bezel wire, and I will create a bezel. Let's see, I'll have to cut down the wire just a tiny little bit, but you can see that that's the perfect size bezel to rock over and hold that stone. So sterling silver bezel wire, I could have a ring produced out of those. I could have a ring done in, you know, an hour and, I don't know, maybe even an hour. I'm very fast when it comes to getting these things done, and I'm getting much faster now. It's not about, fast, but I want these wearable. I want them on people's hands, and sooner than later. Let's see. These were 55 cents a stone back in the day. 55 cents a stone. Can't do that anymore. Just can't happen. And then, and then these more green ones with some hint of blue, and then of course a ton of loose ones in the bottom. So we'll put those away. And then look, you're almost off the hook. This is all we have left. And then there's these, and let's see. Yeah. Loved these. Loved everything about them. Can you imagine a ring with 3 of those in line with little tiny silver leaves in between, or little tiny beads in between? Those are fantastic. I loved the color and the saturation of those. Again, stabilized, treated, so they won't shift color, and they're very easy to work with. And yeah, I love them. Oops, I have to put this one away so I don't lose that. I'm going to have so many of these. But again, in the other stones, so many of the mines were represented, like the Pilot Mountain mine and Bisbee, 2 of my favorites. Lone Mountain was beautiful. Morency's just as fantastic. When people don't know what a turquoise stone is, they always say Sleeping Beauty or Kingman. It's constant. It's Sleeping Beauty or Kingman. Yes, they were the most prolific and highest producing mines, I believe, back in the day. But that doesn't mean that every turquoise you touch is Sleeping Beauty or Kingman. It just freaks me out when people do that. So I always tell people, slow down, do your research, and even though turquoise is oxidized, we can still kind of tell where it comes from based on color saturation and mostly the matrix. That's the way you tell where turquoise is from. But again, these are Chinese and imported to America back in the day. Love the finish on these. Love the polish, and I love the natural color of those. And then this. My intention was to make a dragonfly out of it, so I'd put a silver body down the center and a silver head, and you can already envision it. You can envision what I was going to do. Bezel set these as the wings, and then have this be a gigantic turquoise and sterling silver dragonfly brooch. I was going to run the pin back across it, and that's still going to happen. Just, amazing. These are not backed at all. That's just solid stone all the way through. I think the set of that was maybe, let's see here. That's in Chinese, so I can't read what I paid. I don't think it was much. I think maybe I eventually paid 30 for the pair. Which I thought was amazing, because I can't even cut the stones for 30 these days. Yeah, I wish my friend Linda was here. She'd be able to tell me exactly what I paid. So look at that. And I loved the kind of matched pair, but not exactly matchy-matchy. So that's it. Thank you so much for bearing with me. I really appreciate it very much. I want to settle into many more videos, and I so thank you for your time. I really do. You are so gracious. You are so wonderful. Tomorrow is going to be a very special video. It's going to be absolutely incredible. I'm super excited about it. And then I'm going to kind of calm down Friday and Saturday, and if you believe that for a second, tune in Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday will be the grand finale. Do not miss Sunday. I promise you right now, don't miss Sunday. It'll be one of my best videos so far. Take it easy. I love you so much. Good night, everyone.